Before we dive into today's podcast, I do just want to say that today's conversation touches on mental health and personal struggles, but it's really about like defining your future and not letting your past get to you. If you're not okay with that, we will see you all in the next episode. We just want to make sure that you're comfortable before we move forward. Enjoy. Today's guest is Devin VanderMaas, co-owner of DarkShift. DarkShift isn't just a clothing brand. It's a brand built on resilience and mental struggle. Devin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Do you mind just telling them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Devin VanderMaas, 29 years old, co-founder of DarkShift. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We'll dive into the rest as we go, but that's kind of my backstory and where I'm at right now. And
cool. Let's take it back a little bit. So before the brands, before the clothing, before the content, before the program that we're in now, let's say that. Tell me about your life growing up.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in a good household. Grew up in Vineland. Church family, went to church every Sunday, no complaints with my home life. When I was around 12 years old, my best friend from church, he passed away from a rare form of spinal cancer. So I think that's where like a lot of my story like started, the more I think about it like at my age now. And yeah, like I think just that kind of shaped where everything went and kind of just shaped my future and how I've dealt with a lot of things, and also a lot of things have happened to me since then. So I think that's kind of where it all started, just like dealing with that childhood trauma. But
yeah, you 12 years old. That's young, right?
Yeah.
So how does that affect you as a person, mentally, physically, at that age? Because that's supposed to be your years of fun and.
At that age, it was really difficult to put into words and like process as a whole. I think I knew it was happening, what was going to happen, but I didn't really like understand the magnitude of what was going to happen. But yeah, I think at any age, really dealing with that kind of trauma, losing your best friend, it's not really anything you know how to handle or anything like you are prepared to handle. It's just kind of something you have to deal with and move forward with.
Yeah. The only way I can really reflect on that is when I was diagnosed with my health condition, right, at the age of 12. And it was like, okay, I just gotta, something's obviously changed in my body, and I gotta kind of restart or figure out a way to continue without injuring myself even more, right?
Exactly.
So that's really how I can relate to that. Is it's definitely puts a lot of stress and things on you, right?
Yeah.
So okay, tell me kind of just how this new form of your childhood played out, and then kind of leading into like when you went to high school.
Yeah. So I think after that happened, I was having a really hard time, and I think like that's kind of where the things I deal with now, like depression, anxiety, kind of stemmed from. And from that moment, I kind of felt as though like God was against me, or like that good things weren't meant to happen to me. So I kind of always had that in the back of my mind. So if something happened, like in high school, for example, I was bullied a lot, whether it was the sport I played, because I was like a soccer kid, and like in high school, you either play hockey or you're like not cool.
You were bullied for playing
a sport.
Soccer?
Yeah.
When two of the greatest athletes are soccer players?
Yeah. I've had arguments with people my whole life about it, and you just kind of take the punches as is and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
but what were they bullying you about? Or is it just the fact that you picked, possibly a sport that men like to deem a female sport?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the diving aspect of soccer too, right? Like you dive, so you're like kind of.
You dive in volleyball. You dive in.
I trust me. I know. It's basically like hockey players versus like soccer players in high school. It's like if you didn't play hockey, you weren't deemed like cool. So I think like just from playing soccer and like kind of being like odd, and like all my friends were super fit, and like I was kind of like overweight in high school. Just dealing with that, I was kind of like the odd one out like the whole time, which led to me being like an easy target for bullying. And then, yeah, so I think just the depression started from there, and just going through the high school days of like being bullied and just not really having anyone and kind of like pushing through it myself. It led me to like a really dark place, and it was a scary time because I didn't know what my life was going to look like. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, or I did know what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to go to school for interior design, which is completely different from what I chose. I wanted to go to school for interior design because I always loved like a design element of like houses or like making something like a room look a certain way, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Thank you. And then I got bullied for that too. Okay. So in my mind, I was like, I need to pick a new career. I need to pick something else to go to school for. I need to do something else that's like deemed cool. Ended up going to school for policing at the end of the day, which I never thought about prior to that. I just thought, this is cool. People like me for this. And yeah.
People like you for it. So was it something that you wanted to do, or was it you were kind of at that place where, okay, let's pick something that they'll respect me out of?
It was kind of like, I wanted to pick something that people would respect me for. Like I said, I was a bigger guy, like height-wise, so like I was always like more intimidating than other people, I guess you could say. So I wanted to use like my size to have like something, like I said, that people would respect me for. This also led me into like another job that like I got doing security at like St. Catherine's Hospital. So I think just those two things like going hand in hand, it just kind of like made me want to follow that policing career path. And then
I heard that's just from like people talking and stuff, that's not an easy job.
No, it's not an easy job.
I can tell you just from being a patient in many hospitals that the hospital life is not it's not easy. What is that like?
I got in right when I was 18, so you have to be 18 to get your security license. So I started when I was 18 working straight night shifts because I was in school at the time too. So there were nights where I would work 12-hour shifts, go to school all day, go to work at night, work another 12 hours. So there were times where like I didn't sleep for like days on end. So the job itself was good. I had a good crew, good partners, like all that kind of thing. But the mental stress that like it took from like not sleeping, seeing things at like 18 years old of just like mental health patients and like that kind of thing, you're kind of sprung into like a maturity role like super quick.
Makes sense.
And that's kind of the hospital security at night. It's different. It's like lonely. You just kind of with yourself. You're walking around an empty hallway hospital like all night, and it's just it's different.
Okay, so at this point now you're just kind of finishing your college and your education. You're working as a security guard. What was next? Did you end up finishing policing, or?
So I finished college, and then I had an opportunity to be a correctional officer. Me and my friend that I worked with, we saw a posting, saw that the money was good because security money, it's not great for the job we do. So we saw an opening for corrections. We both applied. We both got the job. And then that kind of went into the next 5 years of my life. I was there for 5 years after college, went right in at like 20 years old. In Hamilton. So it's like the detention center there, it's basically like people who are serving less than 2 year sentence or waiting to be sentenced on like a sentence for like longer than 2 years. So you have like everyone there. Like there's no holds barred, like any crime you think of is there, right? So even then, no one wants to take night shifts. And when you're part-time, when you just get hired,
you want to be the yes man.
And you don't get guaranteed hours. They basically schedule you 0 to 40, and then you kind of have to pick up the rest. So no one wanted to work nights. So I was like, okay, like I'm used to night shifts. Like, I'll work them. Did that for a while until I got full-time. But in that time, you see a lot, man, and like just maturity. I want to, sorry to interrupt, but good. It just kind of takes it right back down to your childhood. But you're like, you witnessed something tragic when you were a kid. High school was rough for you, and then you chose policing out of like trying to impress other people, right? So it wasn't even what you wanted to do in the long run.
So where are you now in terms of a mental state? Because you're years in with this this career,
Yeah.
or whatever, you're just starting, or like to actually take this as a full-time job. But are you starting to enjoy it now, or are you still kind of?
I'd say I enjoyed it for the people at this point. The people I worked with are great, but like mentally, I think, like you said, like I joined a career path out of like, I'd say like anger and like despising like the people who made fun of me, right? And I'm like, hey, watch me now.
Yeah.
But yeah, mentally I was like okay at that point, but then you start getting like the overdoses at the jail, the deaths, the fights, and like all that. And like that kind of stuff like starts to get to you, whether you realize it or not. Like you kind of just have to like push through it and just like go into the next shift and just say like, okay, I have 12 hours here. Like I just have to get through whatever happens in these 12 hours.
Makes sense.
So I didn't really realize how it was affecting me mentally. But I thought I was in a good place, but everyone around me could like tell I was like a shell of who I was.
Just because you were so used to the routine, like go to work, do your job, come home, next day, redo it all. Like,
and you get like so institutionalized too that you're just like, hey, I'm here for 12 hours, like I said, and then like you're stuck here. Like there's nothing you can do really. You just kind of have to like push through, right? So, and I would say there's like a stigma around like mental health and like a corrections field or like a policing field where you're kind of like weak if you talk about it, or if you like aren't like strong, if you can't like handle it mentally.
Okay.
There's kind of like this stigma where people like don't understand it fully because like everyone's trying to be like an alpha there because you don't want to like show these guys that you have like any sort of weakness, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's talking about it with people there wasn't always easy, so you're kind of just by yourself unless you have like a close-knit group, but I didn't really have that either, so just kind of dealing with it myself.
Yeah, I'm sure I know some of the answers, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but assuming some of those things that you witnessed are insanely
graphic,
yeah,
right?
Graphic,
yeah, I've seen things at like, you said you're 20, right? Yeah, I saw some things like at that age that I wouldn't wish upon anyone to see, and like to see at that age, to see at any age really, it's not like humanized. Like you shouldn't be seeing these things at this age. So growing up with like the background I had and just like already dealing with like certain things, and then like seeing these things just kind of like added onto it. So
but you were safe during this job, or did you ever experience?
There were a couple times where I got hurt at work, but that was just like from incidents that occurred.
Makes sense.
Kind of.
That's good. So nothing too.
No, nothing too bad.
Big. That's good.
Too bad.
Okay, so I asked you a little bit about how you were feeling during this time, and you had also mentioned a little bit ago that you thought you were okay, but everyone around you could see that something was up, right? Was there a time where you started to maybe realize that they were correct about it, and if so, like how did you start coping with it?
Like I said, like I was losing myself during those years of like either nights or the job in general. Just like in the 5-6 years that I was employed, I definitely could tell that like I was losing who I was as a person, who I was at home, and just kind of like a shell of who I was, right? All I focused on was money. And I think like anyone at that age, if you have a good paying job, like all you're really going to focus on is money. But coping wise, I wouldn't say I use the healthiest coping mechanisms. Drank excessive amounts of alcohol, used multiple substances like every weekend that I'm not proud of. And I would drink on purpose to like black out. Like if me and my friends went out drinking, like I would purposely black out just to like numb the pain of what I was dealing with. And it took a couple of years for me to realize like what I was doing, because like at that time, like I'm the fun friend and like the partier and like just having a good time no matter what.
I'm eager to hear what you're about to say, but you're now saying, okay, you're the fun guy. What part of that shift from when people were bullying you back in the day to now you're the fun guy? Just quickly.
Yeah, I think it's just whenever someone, just at that age, whenever someone's like abusing substances and just being a good time, and like I think you're just fun at that point rather than like the not weird kid, but like And I think it was a different group of friends too. Like these were all like really close friends.
Okay.
So like when we would go out, like we would all kind of just be like degenerates in a way.
Makes sense.
But
did you ever get like people like, oh, can you drive me places? Can you buy me this?
All the time. And
Yeah.
like I definitely got used a lot for like rides, money, like everything like that. And like because of how I was raised with my home life and everything.
Assuming nothing in return, right?
Yeah. And I was always just like giving, just because like I don't want to see anyone in my life or anyone that I'm close with like fail, fall, like broke, like anything like
Makes
that.
sense,
So
yeah.
if I can do it and I'm in the position to do it, like I will do it.
Yeah.
So I had people coming out of like people who like bully me in high school, like reaching out to me, just like asking how I was with ulterior motives and
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. And a lot of the time I noticed it, but like there were times where I didn't, and like I got hurt because of it. But yeah. So
That's, yeah, I know what you're, yeah, I've definitely had people who I had kind of shittier relationships with in my younger years who now reach out and was like, yo, we should hang out, or just random, like, hey, can you drive me somewhere? And it's like, I don't have a ride, and like, you're kind of my last hope or whatever. And I'm like, no, I haven't talked to you in years.
It's when they
and
need
then the
you.
times where I do say yes, and they're like, oh, I'll give you money for gas or whatever, I don't ever see a dollar from them, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, why did I do that? Like,
and
I haven't talked to you in years. You haven't benefited me.
Yeah. I'm always the kind of person too where like if I like will drive someone somewhere, I won't ask for gas money, but if it's offered, like that's something I appreciate, right?
100%.
So, but I'll never like go out and ask, and like I said, it's burned me in the past before, but nothing you can do. You just got to
Go
move
back
on.
to continue what you were saying earlier, if you remember.
Yeah, just the coping mechanisms I used and just the people that I would hang out with. Like it's still a great group of friends. Like I've never bashed the people I hung out with. It was just decisions I think I made then and decisions we made as a collective that I'm not proud of, a lot of them. And just looking back, like it definitely wasn't the healthiest way to cope. It's because I like was lost and like I didn't know where to turn, who to go to. So that kind of put it into perspective when like it was 3 a.m. one night and I would just like, I went for like a walk and just started like looking at traffic and like, I was just kind of like looking at traffic. I was like, maybe like this is what was meant to happen. And like, this is where life took me. Yeah. I was sitting there looking at an overpass for like 10 minutes and a cop like drove by and he's like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I like just told him, I like broke down, told him everything. And yeah, he ended up driving me home and just like talking to me about it. And just, so I would say if he didn't stop, like I wouldn't be here today, which is kind of sad to say, but there's a reason he came by, right? So
100%. Everything happens.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. I'm just curious. And what does a police officer have to do in that? It's okay, he drove you home, but is there now follow-ups? Does he have to let your parents know?
He didn't let my parents know. Because my dad used to wake up at like 3 a.m. to like go to work or whatever. So he was up when I was leaving. He's like, what are you doing? And I just told him I was going for a run, whatever, that kind of thing. So when the cop picked me up, he just drove me home and like I explained like I was a correctional officer, just like kind of things I was dealing with. And I think we had that like mutual agreement where like, and I made a promise to him saying like, this won't happen again. Like you won't hear from me again in this setting. So I think we had that like mutual agreement where he was just like, hey, like I trust this guy, like he's
clearly home
dealing with
now,
stuff.
safe. Like
he's safe, and like I'm sure he dealt with some things too where he's had like thoughts, or maybe not, but like everyone has like those stresses in those high profile like law enforcement careers, right? So I think he just understood and then just kind of like took my word for what it was and just let me.
Where does that lead you now, moving on with life after really coming close to something like that?
Yeah, it's humbling in a sense of like God's plan is like a huge thing, and like whether you believe in something or not, I think everyone's on like some track that like no matter what you do, like you're meant to be on like a specific track.
Makes sense.
And you can try to like break it however you want, but that's what was always meant to happen, right? So I think after that incident, I realized like I had to change something about my life, because there's clearly something going on that like wasn't where I was meant to be. And I couldn't keep living like that either, like for my parents, for my family, like that kind of thing. Like I just couldn't continue going down that road because ultimately like something would have happened, right? So I just started like thinking about it more and like talking to resources I had at work.
Okay.
And I ended up going off work in November of 2024, I think it was. 2023, 2022, wherever it was.
Is this like peak COVID time?
This
Or
was
no,
just
this
after
is after,
COVID.
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it was 2022
This
when
is
I
after
went off.
COVID,
Yeah,
okay.
Initially. So went off.
I'm
for a
sure
couple
that
months.
also made it difficult.
So difficult.
Like during that era, right? It was like you were going through a lot of stuff, and the world was really shut down.
Yeah.
So you really had you were limited to who you could talk to and things like that,
exactly.
right? Which probably also took a toll on how you were feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. So reach out to my resources, and then just kind of like went off for a couple months. I was just like, hey, it's November. I'll go off for a couple months, like spend Christmas, holidays with family,
Makes sense,
and try to go back in the new year. So did all that, felt good, felt like I was like normal again, felt great. Went back to work, and like 2 weeks after that, I went back off again. Had a huge panic attack driving to work. Like I saw the sign of like Nikola Tesla, just had to pull over, huge mental breakdown, and I just couldn't do it. Kind of where I'm at right now, just not working in corrections anymore, and that kind of leads to like how we met. So
pretty much, yeah. So what made you? What kind of tied into these past 2 years that we've known each other? What made you want to get into business, or ultimately go back to school for this program?
I think part of it was like me not knowing what to take, so I just was like, oh, business, like that's something like everyone needs, like everyone, it's good to learn, right? Business, sales and marketing.
Okay.
And I've had people in the past like tell me that like I'm a good talker when it comes to like sales and like that kind of thing, so I'm like, might as well just give it a try, see what it's all about, and just never thought I'd ever like get into something like that based on just like the career choices I made, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought I'd give it a shot, and kind of I'm enjoying it now, and that's where we are.
Tell me about kind of the business that you're operating. You're a co-founder of this business called DarkShift.
Yeah.
First of all, tell me what the business is. And you just said I wanted to try schooling for business. What point did you realize that you want to run your own?
So it's actually funny. So when I was still in corrections, I always wanted to have my own clothing brand. I've always been into like the streetwear kind of thing, but also like partnered with the gym. But I always had a hard time finding like with gym brands, like things that I like to wear and the style that I like to wear, but also like I had like nice sweaters that I didn't want to wear to the gym because like, I don't know, it's just like a mental thing. So I always loved like style and just like fashion sense and that kind of thing. So never thought anything of it in corrections. I was just like, okay, like this is just a pipe dream, whatever.
Everyone has a dream.
Yeah. When I went up.
That's why I started YouTube when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to be the next Mr. Beast or anything like that.
You never know, man. You never know.
But I mean, I had a dream as a kid, and I was very like, I'm going to do it. And then you kind of grow up and you realize what.
It's good to dream, though. That's
exactly
how some of the biggest things
start. But that's basically what you're saying. You had a dream and didn't think you could do anything about it, so
I let it die back when I was like working, and then when I was off and started like going to school, I had a friend who started like his own business company or a brand or whatever, and like it kind of like kickstarted to me like, oh, like I can do something like this, and like things fell off with like him and like that brand. I won't mention names, but things fell off, and then me and our one friend who was also like helping out with the business, we kind of like joked about it, and like she's a first responder too, so we kind of like just joked about like, like what if we started our own like fitness brand and just like did it our way, design things we wanted to do, and then we talked about it more and more, and we're like, okay, like we're both law enforcement, ex-law enforcement, like why don't we tie it into like struggles we had and like mental health problems and like challenges we face, and just kind of like make that our brand message. So we came up with DarkShift, which is kind of like, it's
now
like,
that we were talking, like obviously I didn't know the meaning behind the name, but as I was learning your story, I was kind of tying in that I think it's a proper name.
It's essentially like shifting out of a dark place. So like DarkShift is like the moment where the light shifts the darkness and just like comes out of like that kind of thing, right? So yeah, we just kind of had that, and we just kind of started rolling with the idea and just using our mental health background and things like that to kind of like tie into the message we're trying to put towards people or trying to give out to people. So
makes sense. Yeah. So overall, tell me a little bit about where you are today with it.
So today we're still very brand new. We just locked down like our suppliers, designs, everything. We actually just had our first drop, which went really well. Yeah. We have a couple ambassadors now that are like just like your typical ambassadors. They'll like post for us. They have like their discount codes to like check out kind of thing. But with our ambassadors, we really wanted to have people that like either really hit the message with DarkShift, like either struggled with mental health or like have that kind of thing, or we have one guy right now, he had some like mental health like struggles, like mental health talks kind of thing, but he's also like a good family man. So like his posts and like his content that he puts out is like a lot like family focused. And we just kind of like that because like we're not just a clothing brand.
So you're not going to have your average Bradley Martin be your ambassador.
If Bradley Martin wants to, I mean,
I would definitely jump on that. But like, you're not gonna have your average gym guy be your ambassador. You're gonna kind of pick people who kind of hit your message correctly.
We want to pick people that hit the message, but we also we don't care about follower count. We don't care about like what you're posting. Like we just want people who stand with a message like we're putting out, and people who like resonate with it, and that's all that matters to us. Like we don't care who you are, where you came from, how many followers you have, that kind of thing. If you're willing to promote the clothing that we're putting out and the message that we're putting out, that's all we care about.
Makes sense. That touches well on kind of this whole message that we're talking about, and my message of the podcast, and things like your past, your background, where you were, your medical condition, whatever doesn't define your future, and you have the opportunity to rewrite your future. And that's basically kind of like, I've released a book at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of the whole message of that, right? And I think this is perfect for kind of where your story is, and so I'd like to gift you.
Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I definitely got to read this.
Thank you.
Definitely learn more about you. And I'm sure there's things that I don't know.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's just be bros for a second. It's like we're gonna be done school in a couple weeks, and like whether we talk or we don't, it's like we really don't know much about each other. Yeah. And so that just gives you kind of a look of, because you know how I am in school and stuff, but that will give you a look at my story, because you've heard me talk about some things.
And like all these kind of things too. It's about the connections you have, and like whether they like friends fizzle out, people fizzle out, but like if you're like actually like talking to those people and like actually friends with that people, it doesn't matter how much time has elapsed, like you're still gonna be friends with them, right?
Of course,
I'm excited to read it. Another point that I forgot to touch on was after a lot of the things that happened, I had like a medical emergency and had to go to the hospital.
Okay.
During that time, I got diagnosed with something called frontal lobe syndrome.
Okay.
So that basically like disorients like cognitive ability, brain function, like that kind of thing. Like your frontal lobes are what develop when you're going through puberty and like developing, right? So if you get enough concussions or like head injuries, head trauma, like that kind of thing, which I had a lot growing up just from like sports and other things.
That's why they said don't play soccer.
Yeah, that's why. Foreshadowing.
They were actually just looking out for you. Yeah.
But so I got diagnosed with that, and then that was a hard time in my life too, because there were a lot of decisions that I made and like a lot of things that I wasn't in control of that ultimately affected my life. And I think it's how you grow from those things that have happened. Like I could have just chose to sit in them and be like, oh, why is this happening to me? And like it's good to like dwell on those things for a little bit, but it's also good to like push past those things and use that towards like making yourself better, and like
makes sense,
so that you never go back to that place again, right? So I think those couple of years between like 2004 and like just this past summer were like really tough on me, but I had a good support system with like family and friends and like
2004 to now, or 2024? Sorry,
2024. Sorry,
2024.
2024.
Okay, so the past couple two and a half years. Yeah. So something I see DarkShift does is post a lot of content on social media, content creation, reels, lots of videos, lots of photos, things like that. Can you tell me how you kind of got into that stuff? When did you know that you would kind of enjoy doing that? Or was it just more of like, okay, I'm running a business, I have to get up to date with social media?
I think I always like followed content creators on Instagram and stuff, and just like going through like the times that I went through. I'd say like early 2025, I saw like a lot of people like posting just like them working out with like motivational quotes or like something like over top of it. So I was like, I might as well just do it. I'm working out anyway. What's it going to be if I like just throw my phone down, right?
Exactly.
So I started doing that for a while. Me and my buddy started doing it together, and yeah, we just started posting like our workouts. We started just posting like motivational quotes, motivational posts, that kind of thing. And then I didn't like see the results that like I wanted, whether it was like likes, follows, and I started like doing it. I found I was like doing it for that reason. I wasn't doing it from like a genuine place anymore, where it was like me trying to help people and connect with people. It was more so like I need to be, brand. Yeah, it was more so trying to build my brand up and like promote myself, as opposed to like helping others and like building a tighter community. Yeah. So I think once the DarkShift thing like started and we wanted to build a community with that, that's kind of where like my own personal brand just like, I just like left it for what it was and just started using that as like a networking tool instead. Okay. And then focusing like with the content creation and like my message being like put out there on like the DarkShift page specifically. So
makes sense. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that we're almost done school. We got like 6 weeks left, right?
Crazy.
Crazy is right. Like, where did these 2 years go?
I know, right?
And I don't like, I can be like, where's the 2 years go? Because I feel like I just met you, but it's like, we really didn't talk the whole first year. We didn't really know. No. We knew of each other, but we didn't really know each other, right? So it seems like a year has gone by that we've known each other, and it's like, see ya.
It flies by. Like, even people I'm close with, like, I'm just like, I might not see you again. Like, I think the age gap, like, definitely is, like, weirder for me, like, being 29.
This guy's going
to school with, like, 18, 19-year-olds, but...
That's the other thing a lot of people don't realize. Like, I mean, you thought I was older before this podcast, and I don't think I realized that, like, you could be going to school with someone who's, like, 40 or whatever, right? So
I realized it when I was doing policing my first time, and I would see, like, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, like, in my classes, and I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And didn't really, like, understand it, but, like, I think now, like, being that person, it's
post-secondary, you just kind of, it has no age gap as long as once you finish, like, high school or whatever, it's free world, right?
Yeah.
So,
and life's so short, man. If you want to change career paths, like, go change your career path. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. But, I mean, it kind of touches what we talked about at the end of the day. Don't do something that you're not happy with, right? Yeah. And that's kind of exactly what you did after you got into kind of that better place and stuff. But I know this is probably a challenging question to answer, but what is the plan when we're done?
It's probably the hardest question. Yeah, right now we're working on the spring drop for DarkShift. Okay. We got a lot of different styles coming out. We're still focusing on like the streetwear style, like graphic tees, like that kind of thing, but keeping like we have a forever series. So like this hoodie is part of it, just like minimalistic design.
Okay. Base stuff that you always sell. I mean, I did I did that year when I was selling YouTube merch to my couple friends, right? Yeah. There were classics that like I would always sell, and then I would do my new drops.
It's essentially like essentials, like stuff that we want. Like it's like you buy like whatever, just minimalistic design, but we want to change the name. So like Forever series, like we're keeping this kind of stuff like on our website forever.
Always available.
So, always available. Yeah. And our system is like we're gonna have drops. So like when a drop expires, like that stuff's gone. Yeah. Unless we like do like an archive collection in the future.
So basically for YouTube watchers out there, basically like what Nelk did back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Like they would do one drop and then you would never see that anymore.
Essentially,
right?
Yeah. And then now we're focused on like the spring drop, and then if something sells really well, we'll put it into the forever collection, just like so that people always have access to it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So is your plan to run the business full time?
Haven't really thought of anything past that. Haven't really thought of what I wanted to do in general. I think it's just like a loaded question that I don't really know what I want to do, but I know there's like a plan ahead of me somewhere, and just got, like I said before, just gotta trust God's plan and just know that like everything's gonna work out the way it's meant to. If this brand's my destiny and like if it grows the way I know it can grow to, just based on like the community we're trying to build and everything, I think that would be ideal. But if I find something else that I love, like I'm open to anything.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna have 2 certificates, one in marketing, one in sales.
Exactly.
Right? And those could lead you wherever, right?
Yeah.
And even with the opportunities that the school gives us right now, it's like you could land one of these jobs that they're literally forcing us to do reports on, right? That are recruiting us. It's like you could end up in there, and then that could be your whole new.
It's good experience, though,
shift.
man. Like
it is, honestly.
I think the biggest thing that I can take out of like schooling, for example, was
let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, everything that I learned in these 2 years has helped me with like the business as is. Just things like you don't think about, like marketing, for example. Like you don't think of how doing one thing can impact like a whole demographic of people, or like if you do a specific thing, like people won't want to support you because you're doing like something one way or another way.
Yeah.
And just touching on like what Josh said from like your most recent podcast, like people want to support, but nowadays it feels like people need a reason to support.
Yeah.
And I think like that's been the hardest thing about a business and like business owners in general. Is like you have to sell your story more than your product.
Yeah.
Your product can be like as good as you want it to be, but if there's no backstory behind it, or if you're just like buy my product kind of thing, like I'm not gonna buy it. I don't care how good it is. Which
I guess is, people ask me all the time. It's like, why do I want to keep doing social media when I could? Why do I put hours into my content that obviously doesn't pay, right? I do it for fun. I'm not at that level yet to be monetized or anything. But why do you keep putting hours into it when I could be putting the hours into the actual business that makes me money?
Yeah.
But it's like, you're right. It's to sell the story. It's to show people who I am. So when they are potentially going to hire me for a shoot, then they get to know that little bit of personal connection to me through one of these videos or anything. Yeah. But then as well, it's like I use my platform to promote other people's stories and things like that, right? Like I was given that opportunity to promote my story early on when I was starting through other people's platforms, and now I just want to do the same thing. So
and I'm definitely blessed and grateful that you had me come on here and share my story.
Of course.
I'm sure there's like points that I missed, but I mean,
hey, at the end of the day, it's like you can only share so much in one sitting, and they got to tune in for the rest, right?
It's true.
The journey's just starting for either of us, right? As you're a small business that's starting. I mean, I'm still technically a small business. I've been in it for a couple years now, but I'm still in that category of small business. But people look at some of the things I've done and like, well, that's like crazy. Like, why are you here? Why are you in Niagara? But it's like, my journey's just starting, so is yours. So
that's exactly it. And you just got to keep pushing, man. Like society nowadays, and like we'll get like in the society crap. Yeah. But like, I think everyone is scared to do something that they love and like something that they're passionate about because their fear of judgment. Like no matter where you look on social media, it doesn't matter what you're doing, someone's always going to be there to judge you. But at the end of the day, like, why is this person judging me for what I love and what I want to do? Like, where is the handbook of like, you can't do this, you can't do this? Like, just live your life, man. Like, just do what you need to do to make yourself happy. And if it makes you money, if it makes you famous, if it makes you successful, even better.
100%.
If you want to...
But if it doesn't, at the end of the day, as long as you love
As long as you're happy, who cares?
That's it, yeah.
Life's too short, man. Life's way too short.
So let me ask you this. If there's someone in your shoes from a couple years ago, if there's just someone out there who has a dream and doesn't know where to start, or even if they're saying like, oh, well, I got to go to school or I got to work my part-time job to pay my bills. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like I'm also doing the same thing. I work a part-time job and I'm busting my ass running my own thing, right? But what would you say to someone like that who wants to do something in life but doesn't know where to start?
I'd say just do what you love and take every day for what it is, because the future you're trying to build yourself, you might not even see. So like you can work like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever, just work. That's your entire life. You could pass away at 40 years old, like God willing, obviously, but like you're the future you're trying to build, you might not even see. So live every day like it's like your last day essentially, and just do what you love and just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy the ride. Yeah.
And if there's anyone out there watching who is literally following in your footsteps of how your life panned out, what would you say to them now?
Just keep going. I mean, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep using everything that you've been through. Like, you've struggled. Like, everything that I went through for a reason and used to, like, make me a better person, because I know how I felt in those situations, and I never want to go back to that place. Whether it's for myself, whether it's for my family, whether it's for anything like that. Like, I just want to talk to people about like my story, and like if people like resonate with my story and are dealing with the same thing, like reach out. Like that's the biggest thing. Like
use your resources.
Use your resources. Use people that you see. Like I know like a lot of people watching might not know me, but like talk. Like I'm on my DMs, my email, everything's always open. Like 100%. I'm always willing to talk to someone, because I'd rather talk to you and then like see something bad happen to you, right? So yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Do we miss anything?
I think that's it from me.
Okay, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at Devin VanderMaas 15. That's my personal account. If you want to follow it, go for it. I just post about my dog and my girlfriend. But my fitness account is at DVM Fitness. That's where I post like motivational stuff, and then at DarkShift on Instagram as well.
And the website, is it just DarkShift.ca?
DarkShift.ca,
yeah, exactly.
And then you can find everything there. One thing I want to touch on with that is we are always open to suggestions. So if there's like a graphic you want, if there's like something you want, we'll always consider it, as we're like our modes drops, right? So like if we're gonna have like 50 drops in our lifespan, we need ideas.
Makes sense.
So we're always open to ideas, and one of us will always talk. Like even if you wanted to DM the page, make it like anonymous more.
Makes sense.
Like one of us are always willing to talk. So
well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
you
so
much.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We hope you guys enjoyed. I know it wasn't your typical podcast that is usually posted on this channel, but this is something that we really wanted to talk about. And honestly, it's like, as much as people be like, where's the fun content? It's like, I enjoy doing this. I wanted to learn more about you, so I can kind of tune them out for a second and be like, this is something I wanted to do. So I really appreciate you diving deep into your life and sharing it on my platform.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And if anyone has questions for me, feel free. I'm 100%. Open book with this kind of stuff. So
that's the other thing. Yeah, like he had just said, if you ever need anything, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, to leave them down below. Reach out to any of us personal or friends, family, teachers, professionals, anything like that. Reach out if you need any help or anything like that. But we hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, you're right. We hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.